Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, you're welcome to Sew with Mediva. And if you're a returning subscriber or a returning viewer, thank you for sticking to my channel. So in today's video, I'll be showing you guys how to cut and sew this simple palazzo jumpsuit with this stylish collar design in front. So I achieved this style using 3.5 yards of African print fabric, and this jumpsuit also has pockets on the side. This is what the back of the jumpsuit looks like. So if this is something you are interested in, make sure to keep watching and make sure you watch till the end so that you don't miss out on any detail. And if you find this video useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. So I made use of 3.5 yards of this beautiful African print fabric, and then I will be using this black crepe to line the front part because of the flap design in front. So you need your tape rule, your scissors, your chalk and your ruler. So we're going to start with the upper part of this jumpsuit. So let's go ahead to fold up the fabric. So guys, we're going to start with the upper part of this jumpsuit, and this fabric is for the back panel. It is in a fold of 2, as you can see. So notice as this jumpsuit has a joining on the waistline, so we're going to work on the upper part, which is from the shoulder to the half length. Your half length is just above your belly button. So mine is 16.5 inches, and I added 1 extra inch to it for the joining allowance. So the full length of this jumpsuit is 58 inches, and for this upper part I have used 16.5 inches, which is from my shoulder to my half length. So the length of the lower part is going to be the 58 inches minus this 16.5 inches. I hope you guys understand. And I also added a joining allowance of 1 inch to the 16.5 inches. So the back panel is going to have a zipper allowance of 1.5 inches towards the center back. And the wideness of the fabric I have after the zipper allowance is the round bust measurements divided by 4 plus 2 extra inches. The next thing is to take the vertical measurement, and the first measurement is from the shoulder to the bust point, which is 11 inches for me. Go ahead to mark your own appropriate measurements and extend the line. So after that, I'll come over to the shoulder line and mark the shoulder to shoulder measurements divided by 2. So mine is 8 inches. So remember, you're taking all these measurements just after the zipper line. So because it's a sleeveless dress, I'm going to take out half an inch from the 8 inches and mark 7.5 inches. And from that point, I'll come down by my round armhole measurements divided by 2, which is 8 inches for me. And then go ahead to connect the points together. So I didn't add the 1 inch for shoulder slope because it's a sleeveless dress and you don't want the armhole area to open. So I'll come over to the shoulder line, and from that zipper allowance I'll take the wideness of the neckline, which is 3 inches, and the depth of the back neckline is 1.5 inches. So I'll go ahead to connect the points together this way, and then I'll come over to this armhole line and come down by 1 inch to create the shoulder slope. After that, the next thing is to place the dart, and to get your dart line you're going to divide your nipple to nipple measurement by 2. So starting from that zipper line, I'm going to take 4 inches. My nipple to nipple measurements divided by 2 is 4 inches, and I'll mark it on all the lines. And on the bust line, I'll come up by 2 inches and then connect all the points together. So go ahead to mark your own appropriate measurements. And on both sides of the line, I'm going to take half an inch and then extend it all the way up this way to create the dart. After that, the next thing is to place the round body measurement. So I'll come over to the bust line and mark my round bust measurements divided by 4. I'll add a half an inch for that and 1 inch for seam allowance, making 12 inches. So I'll mark the same 12 inches on this chest line, so making sure all the measurements are taken after the zipper line, and then connect the 2 points together this way. And on the waistline, I'll mark my round waist measurement divided by 4, which is 9 inches. I'll add 1 inch for that and 1 inch for seam allowance, making 11 inches. And then connect all the points together this way. So the next thing is to take the armhole curve. I'll take the midpoint of this line, which is 3.5 inches, and then form a curve this way. So let's go ahead to cut out the back panel. So let's go ahead to cut it out. So on this shoulder area, I'm going to add half an inch for the joining allowance. So before I open up the center back, I'll come over to this zipper point from the closed angle and take 0.5 inches. So I'll just take my ruler now and extend it all the way to the upper part this way, forming a slanted line. So by doing this, you're going to eliminate any kind of bulging at the back of your dress or jumpsuit after inserting the zipper. So another thing I do for that perfect fit is to come up by 1 inch from the center back and then slant it into the side this way, and then I'll cut it out. But this is going to just give your dress or your jumpsuits that perfect fit at the center back. I'll notch the dart areas and then open up, so we have two pieces of the back. So I'll use this now to cut out the lining. So guys, we're moving to the front panel of the upper part, and I have my fabric cut out. It is in a fold of 2. I've gone ahead to mark out a starting line which is going to serve as the shoulder line. So from the shoulder to the half length is 16.5 inches, and I added 1 extra inch for the joining allowance. So let's go ahead to mark out the point. So remember, the front part of this jumpsuit is in the form of a wrap, so I'm going to come in by 4 inches from the center front, which is the nipple to nipple measurements divided by 2. So I'll mark 4 inches and just connect the point all the way up. So you can use your rulers to connect it together. So this 4 inches is what is going to create that wrap effect in front. So I'll go ahead to fold in that 4 inches this way so that it doesn't interfere with the measurements we are placing. So go ahead to fold it in. So what I have left now is my round bust measurements divided by 4 plus 2 inches for seam allowance. So I'll come over to the shoulder line and take from my shoulder to my nipple point, my bust point, which is 11 inches. Go ahead to mark your own appropriate measurement. So on the shoulder line, I'll mark my shoulder to shoulder measurement divided by 2 and take out half of an inch. And from that point, I'll come down by the round armhole measurement divided by 2 again. So this is just the same thing we did for the back panel. And the wideness of the front neckline is still going to be the same 3 inches, while the depth is going to be 3 inches also. Go ahead to mark yours and connect the points together. After that, we'll take the shoulder slope of 1 inch. The next thing is to place the dart, and from this closed angle, I'll come in by 4 inches, just like I did with the back. I'll mark it on the bust point, and from that bust point I'll come down by 1.5 inches, then connect the points this way, and then I'll take 0.5 inches, half of an inch on both sides of the line, and connect. So after connecting the dart points, this is what we have. The next thing we want to do is to mark the round body measurement, and on the bust line I'll place the round bust measurement divided by 4 and add 1 inch for seam allowance. I'll mark that same measurement on the chest line and connect the points together. And then I'll come over to the waistline and mark the round waist measurement divided by 4, which is 9 inches, and add the 1 inch for that and 1 inch for seam allowance. So go ahead to connect all the points together after placing your own appropriate measurement. So for the armhole cover, I'll come over to this line and look for the midpoint, which is 3.5 inches. And then I'll come in by 0.5 inches, half of an inch. So I'll go ahead to form a curve all the way down this way and all the way up. So this is basically all for the front. Let's go ahead to cut it out. So I'll add half an inch to the shoulder area for joining. So I'll go ahead to open up that 4 inches extra, extend the neckline, and then cut it out. So after cutting out, this is what it looks like. I'll go ahead to notch this this point this way. Go ahead to notch it, the part where you want the crossing over to be. And then I'll also notch the dart areas so that when I'm taking it in, I'll know the part where I'll be having my darts. And then I'll go ahead to open up the center front into 2 this way. So the front panel of the jumpsuit is going to overlap on each other, and the extra 4 inches we added is going to help create the flap in front this way. It's going to create the flap in front when you cross it over. I hope you guys understand. So it's going to appear this way in front. So you're going to overlap it on that notched part. I hope you guys understand why we notched it now. So I'll be using this crepe fabric to serve as a lining for the front. I'm going to cut it out and show you guys the next thing to do. So guys, we're moving to the lower part of the jumpsuit, which is the pant, and I have my fabric in a fold of 2. This is for the front panel. So I've gone ahead to mark out the waistline, and the wideness of the fabric I have here is my round hip measurement divided by 4, which is 11.5 inches. 1 inch for seam allowance, making 12.5 inches. 1/2 of an inch for ease, making 13 inches. You can decide to make yours without ease because I didn't want mine too tight. Plus 4 extra inches for the crotch extension. So I have a fabric of 17 inches on fold. So for the length of this lower part, like I said earlier, it is 41.5 inches. But I'm going to mark 43 inches because of the folding at the base. So I'll mark 43 inches. Go ahead to mark your own appropriate measurements. So after marking the full length of the pants, I'll come over to the waistline and take from my waistline down to the hip line, which is 10.5 inches for me. Go ahead to mark your own measurements and extend the line this way. After that, the next measurement is from the waistline to the crotch depth. So to get your crotch depth, go ahead to divide your round hip measurements by 4. Mine is 11.5 inches. If I'm making a pant, I'll just add 1 inch to it to make it 12.5 inches for a fitted pant. But since it's a jumpsuit, I'm going to add extra 1 inch to that 12.5 inches to make a total of 13.5 inches. So go ahead to extend the lines this way. And then on this hip line, I'll come over to the hip line and place my round hip measurements divided by 4, which is 11.5 inches. I'll add 1/2 inch for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance, making 13 inches. So I'll go ahead to mark the 13 inches on all the lines this way. So place your own measurements and mark it on all the lines this way. So connect the points together. Also mark the same measurements on the waistline and connect together this way. So the next thing is to mark the crotch extension, and to get your crotch extension, go ahead to divide your round hip measurement by 4. So whatever you got, divide it by 4 again. So for mine, I got about 3 inches, and I'm going to just mark it there and form a curve all the way to the hip line this way. Form a curve to create the crotch extension. So because it's a palazzo jumpsuit, I don't want any sort of fitting on the lower part. I'm going to just connect that point all the way down. Or better still, I'm going to measure what I have there and place it on the base line and then connect the points all the way down to the crotch line. So after doing that, the next thing is to place the waistline measurement. But first of all, I'm going to work on the darts. So from the center front, I'm going to come in by 4 inches and then come down by 5 inches and then connect the points together this way. So I'll take 0.5 inches on both sides of the line and then connect it all the way down. So for the waistline, I'll mark my round waist measurement divided by 4, which is 9 inches. I'll add 1 inch for the darts and 1.5 inches for the seam allowance and ease. So I'll go ahead to connect it all the way into the hip line this way. So I did not add any joining allowance to this crotch area because of that 1/2 inch I already added for ease. But if for yours, you can go ahead to add it if you want your pants to be very free on your body. So I'll just go ahead now to open up the sides after cutting. So go ahead to notch the dart points on both fabrics and then open it up on the side. So after cutting out, I'm going to use these front panels to cut out the back. So for the back panel, I'm going ahead to place the front panels on another fabric that is in a fold of 2. And towards the side of the pant, you can see that I did not put any allowance there because we have already added seam allowance to the front panel. But towards this crotch extension, I have about 4 inches thereabouts or 5 inches. And towards the upper part of my fabric, I have about 2 inches thereabouts. If you're on the small side, you can do 1.5 inches. I'm going to extend it up by 2 inches. And then on this crotch area, remember we used 3 inches in front. I'm going to add 1 inch to what I used in front and just extend the line this way. And then I'll come over to the hip line I'll get the hip line from the front panel, which is 10.5 inches, and then I will come out by 2.5 inches. So if you're working with a smaller sized person, you can do 1.5 to 2 inches, or a bigger sized person can also do 3 inches. So I'll curve that point all the way to the new crotch extension, and then extend it all the way to the waistline, forming a slant. This is going to be where the butt will sit. After that, I will go ahead to just connect the waistline all the way to the side this way, forming a slant, and then confirm if what I have in front is the same with the back. So I have the same measurement for both. And then I'll come over to this inner part of my pants and come out by 1.5 inches. I'll come out by 1.5 inches and then connect it all the way to the new crotch extension this way. So I'm going to just mark that 1.5 inches all the way down, and then I'll connect the points together after marking. This is going to be for the seam allowance on that inner side of the pant. After that, I'll go ahead to mark the zipper allowance of 1.5 inches from that center back. So I came down by 9 inches and just marked it all the way to the 9 inches point. So the next thing to do is to cut it out. So let's go ahead now to cut it out. When I get to this point, I'll take the zipper allowance and then cut out the waistline. So after cutting out, this is what we have. I'm going to then mark the dart for the back. So I'll come in by 4 inches from the center back and then come down by 5 inches again. And then I'll take half an inch on both sides of the line, just like we did in front, and then connect the points together. So we are done with the back. Let's proceed to start joining the fabrics together. So guys, we're moving to the sewing part of this tutorial, and we're starting with the upper part. So I've gone ahead to cut out the crepe fabric I'll be using as my lining. So I'll place them right side facing each other. Go ahead to close up the neckline, close up the center front, close up the armhole area at the sides. I'll leave the lower part open for turning over. I'll repeat the same thing on the other side. Place them right sides facing each other this way, and go ahead to close it up all around. So I'll also leave the lower part open for turning over. When I'm done with that, I'll move over to the back panel. So the back panel, I'm using a regular lining for it. So I'll just place it right sides facing each other and close up all the necessary parts. Just the same thing with the front. So when I'm done doing all of that, I'll notch the seams open, turn it over to the right side, and then iron it out, and then I'll show you guys the next thing to do. So guys, after I turned over with the lining, I also took in the dart. So I also ironed out the neckline to show you guys what it's going to look like at the end of the day. And for the back, I turned over, I took in the dart, and this is what we have. So before I take in the dart for the lower part, I'm going to make a little adjustment to it. So remember, we're going to be joining the front with half of an inch. So I'm going to come out from that half of an inch by 4 inches so that it doesn't truncate the size of the dart. So guys, take note of this when making yours. So you're going to come out by half of an inch first, because you're going to join the front panels together before you mark your dart. So I'll go ahead to take in the dart for both sides of the front panel. I'll stitch it in on the wrong side this way. I'll repeat the same process for the back, and then I'll show you guys the next thing to do. So after I took in the dart, I went ahead to close up the center front all the way to the crotch curve. So this is what the dart looks like on the wrong side. And for the back, I stopped closing at the point where I want my zipper to stop, as you can see. So, and I also took in the dart. So the next thing we want to do is to work on the pocket. I'm going to close up the front panel this way into 2, and then from the side, on the waistline from the side, I'll come in by 3 inches, and then for the wideness of the pocket, I will come down by 7 inches. So I'll go ahead to connect that 3 inches to that 7 inches this way and then cut it out. So after cutting out, when you open up, you have something that looks like this. So I'll cut out the fabrics for the pockets now. So I've cut out the fabric for the pocket and I have 4 pieces of it. They are all equal in size. So I'll set 2 pieces aside while we just work with 2 for now. I'm going to place the 2 pockets right sides facing each other, and then I'll place it under this cut out part of my pant, making sure the side of the pant and the fabric is aligned, just as you can see in the video. So after that, I'll go ahead to trace out the shape and then cut it out. So when you open the fabric up, you'll have something that looks like this. So go ahead to place it on your pants this way, making sure the right sides are facing each other, and go ahead to stitch it down using 1/2 inch. When I'm done, I'll show you guys the next thing to do. So after stitching down the pocket fabric to the pants, this is what it looks like, and I also notched the seam areas opened. I'll flip it over to the wrong side now and then iron it out so that it lays down flat. So I'll flip the pants to the wrong side. This is what it looks like on the wrong side. So go ahead to iron it out, and then I'll get the remaining 2 fabrics. So take the right side and place it on the other fabric this way. At this point, the right side of the pocket are facing each other, and then go ahead to stitch it closed. Raise the pocket up this way and stitch it closed all the way to the side. Go ahead to secure the pocket all the way around it to the side. So I'll repeat the same thing for the other side. Place the right side on it this way, raise the pocket up and go ahead to close it up using 1/2 inch. So when I'm done doing all of that, I'll show you guys the next thing to do. So guys, after I stitched down the other fabric to the pockets, this is what it looks like on the right side, and this is what the wrong side looks like. You can see. So the next thing we're going to do is to shape the waistline back to the way it was before. So remember, we took out 3 inches when we were trying to cut out the pocket. So from the where the pocket starts from, I'm going to take 3 inches again and just connect it all the way down to the hip line this way. I'll repeat the same thing from the other side. Take 3 inches and then connect it all the way down. So we're going to just cut out the remaining part that we have. To cut it out. So after cutting out, this is what we have. You can see the pocket sitting pretty. So the next thing to do is to join the upper and lower parts together. But before we do that, I'm going to join these 2 front panels together. So I'll take the part I notched, which is the center front, and then I'll cross it on each other this way. So I'll make sure that this edge is sitting on the notched part of this other fabric, while the one at the under part is also facing the notched part. I hope you guys can see what I did. So cross it over so that each of the notched parts is on the edge of the fabric, and then use your pins to hold it down. So what you're going to do next is to go ahead and join the 2 pieces together. Let's go ahead and join the 2 fabrics together. So guys, after joining the front panels together, this is what we have. And when you open it up, you can see the wrap effect. So the next thing to do is to join the upper and the lower parts together. So I'm going to place the lower part on it, making sure the right sides are facing each other this way. Then go ahead to merge the dart points together this way. And then I'll use my seam allowance that I added to join the front and the back and panels together all the way down. You can use your pins to hold it down before you stitch. So when I'm done joining the front panels, I'll get the back panels as well, and also place them right sides facing each other this way, merge the dart points and then stitch it down. When I'm done doing all of that, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So after joining the lower and the upper parts together, this is what it looks like in front. You can see how beautiful it looks, and for the back panels, I have also joined them together just like I explained earlier. So the next thing we want to do is to join the front and the back panels together. So I'm going to place both sides facing each other. So make sure the right sides are facing each other this way. So place them right sides facing each other this way, and then go ahead to close up the shoulder points using 1/2 inch. Do the same thing for the other side, and then for the sides, make sure you merge the waistline areas together and the armhole area, and then use your seam allowance to close it up all the way down. Close it up all the way down to the full length of the pant. So when I'm done with that, I'll repeat the same thing for the other side. I'll close it up, and then after that I'll take the crotch areas, merge them together with my pin, and then stitch it all the way down using 1/2 inch for both sides. Stitch it all the way down. So when I'm done with that, I'll also finish up the base and show you guys the next thing to do. So after closing up the shoulders and joining the sides together, this is what the jumpsuit looks like. You can see how beautiful it looks already. I also closed up the crotch area just like I explained. So the next thing we want to do, which is the final thing, is to insert the zipper at the back of the jumpsuit. And you're going to need a very long zipper. Mine was about 24 inches. So I had to close up the zipper opening at the pant area by 1 inch again. So go ahead to mark out the zipper allowance you took out initially, which is about 1.5 inches for me. And then do the same thing for the other side. And connect the points together this way. So you're going to get your zipper now, open it up, and then take it right side facing the fabric this way. Place the right side of the zipper facing the right side of your fabric this way. Directly on that line, go ahead to stitch the zipper into the zipper allowance all the way down. Hope you guys understand. So it's going to appear kind of slanted at the pants area because of the butt allowance. So do the same thing for the other side and stitch it in. So when I'm done, I'll show you guys. So after inserting the zipper, this is what the back of the jumpsuit looks like. You can see how beautiful and nice it came out. So I also finished up the base of the jumpsuit by folding in twice and stitching all around. So for the front part, if you want the collar to be stable just like this, you can use your hand needle and just stitch it down using a matching thread. Stitch it down so that it becomes stable. And if you want yours more opened, you can go ahead to just extend the flap. You can open up the flap this way when you wear it to get this kind of style, but the cleavage area might just be a bit open. It just depends on what you want for yours, depends on how you want to style it. So this is where I'll be ending this video for today, guys. I hope you found it useful and I hope you learned something new. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, share this video to your loved ones, and also put on a notification bell so that when I post new videos you'll be notified. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.